House, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I think it was about this time last year. It might have been a little bit later in the summer. You did a whole broadcast on edible flowers, and a lot of them are considered weeds. And then you're like, well, who classified this as a weed and this as a flower? You know, they're all plants. And that was, just that one segment. You rattled off 14 different edible flowers that, just grow here naturally.
Yeah.
And all the different benefits to it. It kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things.
Yeah, but who made the rule that it was a weed? And that's an interesting, curious kind of question too, because you look at it, a lot of the things that have been more recently classified as weeds were often classified as weeds by landscaping maintenance companies who identified things that were growing naturally. It's like, hey, we didn't plant that. And so they don't want to be blamed for where something was growing that they didn't plant, regardless of if it was good for us or not. That's not the concern. It's like, well, it's not intentional, and so therefore it must be bad. And then they can get paid to then remove it. It's like something grows naturally, they want to be paid to remove it or to replace it with something that's good. So there's income related to it. So, and most of that, if you look at history and a lot of those things, it's marketing ploys that often skew whether something is viable
good
or
or
not,
bad.
Good or bad. And that is probably an indicator right there. If something's defined in the plant world as good or bad, that's an opinion. It's not a fact. And it's not respective of the nature of the plant. It's like if I look at any plant, I never see any of them as good or bad, but it might be negative or positive relative to the outcomes that I want. Now it's just a matter of aligning outcomes to the right plant with the right outcome I want. So my weed may be considered a weed just by simply identifying this is a plant in a location I don't really want. If I've got a weed growing through my synthetic turf, that's probably not the place you wanted it to grow. And so that would be possibly you can consider that a weed, but it's really just a misplaced plant. So every weed is a misplaced plant. It always has a benefit. It's a matter of figuring out what the benefit is. And even the dandelions are they're a misplaced plant because really where they should be when they've grown to the size that I noticed what they are is they need to now be in my chicken pen for my chickens to eat. And that's where they go.
Rosie on the House, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.